Am I chatting rubbish? Maybe they were onto something. This is the driver. These are all drivers. They're one of a Cooper's most important and used tools. So the purpose of a driver is to get hit. You hit it with your hammer so that you can hit the hoops down, and over time our shafts get smaller, meaning that we have to replace them. But thankfully they're quite easy to replace. So there's a couple of ways to replace the shaft, but first I'm going to tell you a bit more about the driver itself. So drivers are made up of 3 components: shoes, the shaft, and rings. Okay, so let's break it down. This is my main driver. I actually made it out of oak. Drivers ideally want to be made out of ash, but I couldn't find any in my workshop. I thought I'd ran out, but thankfully I found some more for the ones we're about to use in a second. But this is made out of oak, so it looks incredibly old. It's not. The shoe's very old itself, as is the ring. But the shaft is only a few months old, and it started off probably a few inches taller, but over time it just gets squished down. I actually removed the mushroom, hence why the ring keeps on falling off. So I want to replace it anyway. But additionally, the shoe should come off nice and easily as well, after a few hits. Yep, there we go. So we got the shoe off. So a closer look at the shoe. The shoe is the main component of the driver. This is what actually, okay, so let's break down the 3 components. So the shoe is the main component because this is what actually locks onto the hoop. So the shoe has got a lip on either side. So it doesn't matter which side you hit the driver on, like hold the shaft on. It's universal, it works on both sides. So yeah, these lips latch onto the hoops, which allow you to hit it. And that's what gets the hoops tight, making the cask strong, holding it together. The shaft is obviously what, I believe they're made out of wood. People have suggested in the past making them all out of metal and stuff like that. What Alec told me, obviously he's my go-to metal guy now, he reckoned that 1, it would be too heavy, and 2, there may be vibrations. So this is the way that they've always been, Coopers have always done it. I'm going to actually make a new type of driver at the end of this video that I've never used before. And it's like a medieval / like European one. I mean, I say European, I mean, we're British, but we don't use, we've never used the drivers like this. They've basically got a shaft going through the middle of it, but we'll save that for the end of the video. Let's stick to my bread and butter driver. So, the shaft, like I said, they ideally want to be made out of ash. We don't have hickory over here, but if there's any Americans that want to send me some over, or I'll try and get my hands on some in the future, and it'd be great to do a test to actually see what's better for the longevity, and if it actually makes a better product as hickory. Who knows, but I certainly know that ash makes a better product than oak, that's for sure. So yeah, the ring is what holds it all together. So without the ring, the shaft just splits. Unfortunately, the rings do break, but thankfully my engineer at work has repaired a couple of rings, because I've got quite a few drivers, but I've got a few main go-to ones. I do have some longer shaft drivers, but I mainly save that for days with a Cooper, or if I'm doing like a really small cask myself, like a clock. So I've got a longer shaft to hit it with, basically. But I prefer a small shaft. It's what I'm used to. It's just what you get used to, basically. So yeah, as a result, they get beaten down over time. We get small shafts and we have to replace them. So let's grab our ash and let's replace the first shaft. There's 2 methods to do it. I'm only going to show you the easy method in this one. The harder method of course, actually sizing it up off the shoe itself. This one, we're just going to take the old shoe and, like the old shaft, sorry, and size the new shaft off that one. Let's do it. So here's our block of ash, and here are our 3 components. We don't need these 2 at the moment, we only need this one. So let's grab my fancy marker pens that my dad bought me on Wish. They're actually really, no, Temu, sorry. They're actually really good. So all we need to do is line our old shaft up against the new bit of wood. Scribe on our new shaft area. And then flip her over so we've got that angle. And now get this angle. Sweet. So now I'm just getting a straight edge and doing, it's not going to be that straight, doesn't matter. I'll fix it, I'll sort it out, I'm pretty good. And then, yeah, I want this one quite short. I prefer quite a shorter driver for my usual bread and butter stuff, so let's make this one quite short. So now we want to connect all the ends together. Nice. Okay, so that's nice and square all the way around. You see that? So that's nice and squared all the way around. I just need to cut that out now. Is there probably a better, more neater way of doing this? Probably. But it's worked for me for a decade. And when the drivers aren't made of oak, they work pretty well. So now we're at the bandsaw and we're just going to cut it out. So this is the important part. We've got to see if the shoe fits. So I actually cut them always a bit wider than what I need them, because you can always take a little bit off, whereas you can't add it back on. So this just needs a little bit trimming off the edges. The tapered parts, it just needs to taper the edge parts in a little bit more. So we'll do that. But first, let's draw the ring on top. Well, the shoe fits. Let's just take off this wide part. Oh, it fits. Well, we need to get the ring tight now, so I'm going to hit it a few times with that bit of wood. Alright, so now we've got the ring tight on there. It's time to mushroom it over. So now that's mushroomed over, the ring's not going to come off, hopefully. The final thing I'm going to do to it before we test it out is put my block mark, stamp that onto the handle, onto the shaft. And there we go. Look at that. Lovely, nice driver. Let's go and test it out. How much nicer is the new shaft than the old one? So, that driver is a beauty. That works absolutely lovely. That will continue to be my number one. But, I have a bunch of different shoes and drivers, as I've shown you. But it's not just the shafts that take a beating. The shoes do too. And I've actually got a few shoes that had flattened out. So this one, as you can see, is completely flattened out. There's no more lip remaining on it. So I'm going to fix that one. But as you know, as I'm sure most of you know, I've been hanging around with Alex Steele, who's a blacksmith. And he gave me a forge. So the other day, the first thing that I did when I got back from spending a day with him was like, oh, I'll try and do a bit of cooper smithing and save my shoes. So what I did was I put the shoe inside of the forge. I'm going to splice this over the top so you can see it. So I put my shoe inside of the forge, got it nice and hot, just tried to focus the heat on the tip because obviously that's the area that I'm working on. And I made a vital mistake that I had no idea that I did. But I sent these videos to Alec thinking he'd be really impressed. I used my really good hammer, my brand new one that I literally made the day before, and was hitting the face of it onto the reverse of my old hammer, onto the splaying side. So hitting a hardened bit of steel onto the reverse of another hardened bit of steel. Alex like, no, what are you doing? So I had to go back and quickly examine my hammer, but thankfully it was alright. It was built to last. It's a robust bit of kit, but I will not be trying that again. But as a result of it, I did actually manage to rescue the shoe. They did actually bow out a little bit. I should have put some like an insert on the inside. to stop them bowing out. So I'm not going to do that right now, but in another video, if you want to see, I'll show you exactly how to save that shoe and then put it onto a new shaft. But we'll save that for another video. The final shaft that we're going to do today is the medieval one. So I've been a cooper for a decade and I've always looked into the trade, and I've seen pictures and videos of coopers using drivers with shafts in them, like handles. So their hand is clear of the shaft, meaning less likely to injure themselves. So let's make one. So I'm going to take this driver, it's nice and wide, drill a hole through it, put a stick in it, like a little handle. I think I'm going to chop the end off a broomstick. My dad's getting really annoyed, my broom handle keeps on getting shorter and shorter, and he's a lot taller than I am, so he's having to bend over more. But yeah, I'm going to chop a bit more off that handle, ram it through there, and yeah, report back to you once I've done it, give it a few hits, and give you a verdict. Let's go. About that long will do, I think, but my dad won't be able to use this anymore. I still might. Let's grab the driver and put a hole through it. So I reckon, yeah, let's just squeeze it in there. Need to make sure I'm doing it straight. That'll be pretty hard, but let's go. Sweet. Sweet. Ugh. Looks pretty straight to me. So I think what I'll do is, because it doesn't quite fit, I think I'll taper off the edge of my shaft, well, my handle shaft, not my driver shaft, taper that and then hammer it in. And hopefully that'll give a good friction fit that will do the job. Let's give it a go. Let's hammer it in. I'm actually really excited to try this, so I'm just going to friction fit it, give it a few hits. And hopefully it fits. Well, I mean, it seems to be doing pretty good right now. And then we'll test it out. I'm really excited for this, actually. Medieval / German driver shaft. Hell yeah. Oh. Oh. This is actually working really well. I hope it works. Oh, it feels a bit heavy. Oh, it's hurting my hands a little bit. Oh. Let's give it a few hits with the hammer. Oh yeah. Let's protrude it a little bit. Ha ha ha. Look at that. Well, 1 second, I'm just going to sand off this edge piece, make it feel a little bit smoother. Oh, what? Check that out. That is awesome. Let's go and test it out. All right, get out of the way, main driver. We're on with the medieval style. Let's go. Oh, this is exciting. Ah. That is actually awesome. Honestly, I mean, I'm not going to use it. It's like, it's not going to replace my main driver because it's a bit more cumbersome. I can hit twice as quick with that thing. But for example, I've got a day with a Cooper on Saturday. It's Thursday right now. It's Thursday night right now. I've got a day with a Cooper. They will be using this. This will be an optional thing. If they want to use this, they're more than welcome. But that is absolutely brilliant. Let's flip it over and give the hoop another drive from the other side. What the... Am I chatting rubbish? And maybe actually, this is actually really good. Maybe they were onto something. Well, yeah, so let's just leave the video on that. That's a high, isn't it? Revolutionary, reinventing the driver, going back to European/medieval style. It works. If you enjoyed that, guys, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see me messing around with some blacksmithing and try and repair that old shoe, let me know in the comments. See you in the next one. Peace. So as always, just a quick shout out to all my Coopers Club members, my Firkin and my Hogsheads guys. We've got 20 or 30 new names to add to the list now. I think if any more of you join, we're going to have to get some bigger signs. But I guess that's a good problem to have. So yeah, so thank you for everyone for joining. We're actually doing a giveaway next week on live. So yeah, just say thank you for you guys to being part of the club. So see you in the next one. Peace.